If you are over 60, there is a small daily habit that looks sweet and harmless. But in the wrong situation, it can quietly work against you overnight. You can go to bed feeling normal, and by morning you might notice your words feel thick, your balance feels off, or one side of your body does not cooperate the way it usually does. I am not here to scare you. I am here to help you notice the patterns that often get overlooked, especially after 60, when the body handles sugar, fluids, and medications differently than it did decades ago. Today we are talking about fruit. Fruit can absolutely be part of a healthy routine. Many fruits support aging well. The key is context, your age, your kidneys, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your prescriptions, and very importantly the timing and portion size. Some fruits are more likely to cause big swings in blood sugar. Some can worsen nighttime reflux. Some can act like a mild diuretic and pull fluid out of your system. And a few can interact with certain medications in ways many people never hear about at the pharmacy counter. So here is what I recommend. Listen calmly. Take notes if you like. And if you are on prescription medications or you manage blood sugar or blood pressure, use this as a checklist to discuss with your clinician or pharmacist. We will walk through 9 common fruits, not to label them as bad, but to show you when they may not be the best choice for you, especially late in the day. And at the end, I will share a practical way to keep fruit in your life without the big swings that can make you feel unsteady. Let us start with fruit number 1. 1. Bananas. Bananas are soft, easy to chew, easy to digest, and they are often praised for potassium. For many people, that is a good thing, but after 60, potassium becomes a nutrient that deserves a little respect. Not fear, respect. Here is why. As we get older, kidney function often becomes less efficient. Many people also take common medications that affect how the body holds on to potassium. These can include certain blood pressure medicines and some heart medications. Not everyone takes them, but many people over 60 do. If the kidneys do not clear potassium well, or if a medication causes potassium to rise, then adding a large potassium load on top can push levels higher than your body likes. When potassium gets too high, some people can feel weak, tired, lightheaded, or notice an irregular heartbeat. And if your heart rhythm becomes unstable, circulation to the brain can become less steady. That is not a situation you want, especially overnight when circulation naturally slows. Now, I want to be very clear. A banana does not automatically cause a stroke. That is not accurate, and it is not responsible to claim. What is true is that bananas can be a problem in specific situations. Reduced kidney function, certain prescriptions and large portions, especially when combined with other high-potassium foods and taken late in the day. Let me paint a realistic picture. Imagine a person who is doing their best. Oatmeal in the morning, bananas sliced on top, a smoothie later, maybe banana bread as a snack. None of that feels extreme because it is fruit, right? But in a body that is already holding potassium a little too well, this can quietly add up. And because potassium is not something you feel building up day by day, many people do not connect the dots until they feel off. So what do I recommend if you are over 60? First, if you have any history of kidney issues, or you have been told your kidney function is not perfect, treat bananas like an occasional food, not an everyday staple. If you love them, I recommend half a banana instead of a full large one. Second, keep bananas earlier in the day. Morning or early afternoon is usually easier for the body, because you are moving, drinking fluids, and your system is awake. Third, pair it. Fruit alone digests fast. Pairing with protein or healthy fat slows the rise in blood sugar and can make your body feel more steady. A few nuts. A spoon of Greek yogurt, a slice of cheese, something simple. Fourth, If you are on blood pressure medications or heart medications, ask your pharmacist one direct question: does my medication affect potassium? That single question can prevent a lot of confusion later. And one more important point. Smoothies can turn one banana into a much larger dose than you realize, especially when you add other fruits. A smoothie is not automatically bad, but it is easy to overdo fruit in liquid form. So if bananas are your daily habit, I recommend this adjustment: smaller portion, earlier timing, paired with protein, and confirm potassium-related medication effects. Now let us move to fruit number 2, grapes. Grapes are small, they are easy to snack on, they feel light, and that is exactly why they can be tricky. The issue with grapes for many adults over 60 is not that they are poisonous or forbidden. The issue is concentration. Grapes deliver sugar quickly. It is natural sugar, yes, but the body still handles it as sugar. And because grapes are so easy to eat by the handful, portions can quietly become large. A bowl of grapes can be the sugar equivalent of a dessert, especially the very sweet varieties. If you are someone with insulin resistance, prediabetes, diabetes, or simply a slower insulin response that comes with age, that sugar rush can lead to a spike, then a drop. Those swings can leave you feeling shaky, foggy, or unsteady. And over time, frequent sharp spikes can stress the blood vessels. It is not a dramatic overnight story, it is more like wear and tear. So here is the practical way to think about grapes after 60. If you want grapes, treat them like a sweet treat, not like free food. I recommend a small handful, not a bowl. And I recommend pairing them with protein. A few almonds, a piece of cheese, even a couple of bites of yogurt. This slows the sugar surge and helps you feel steadier. Also, avoid grapes late at night. Not because grapes are evil, but because sugar late in the day is more likely to linger in the bloodstream while you are inactive. And that can affect sleep, hydration, and morning steadiness. If you are someone who notices you wake up thirsty, or you wake up with a mild headache, or you feel foggy, consider what sweet foods you ate in the evening. Grapes can be part of that picture. So my recommendation is simple: keep grapes earlier, keep them small, and never eat them alone if you are sensitive to sugar swings. Now fruit number 3. Pineapple. Pineapple feels like sunshine, and many people enjoy it after dinner because it feels lighter than cake or cookies. Pineapple has 3 main issues for older adults, depending on the person. First is sugar. Pineapple can raise blood sugar quickly in many people. Second is acidity. Pineapple is acidic, and for some people it can worsen reflux. Reflux does not always feel like burning. Some people have silent reflux where the throat feels irritated, the voice is rough in the morning, there is a cough, or sleep feels restless. If reflux worsens sleep and sleep worsens blood pressure stability, it can add to that morning unsteady feeling many people describe. Third is an enzyme in pineapple called bromelain. Bromelain is not automatically dangerous, but it can influence how the body handles inflammation and clotting in some situations, especially if a person is on medications that already affect clotting. The safe approach is not panic. The safe approach is moderation and awareness. So what do I recommend? If you love pineapple, keep the portion small and keep it earlier in the day. If you are on medications that affect clotting, or you take daily aspirin, do not make pineapple a nightly ritual without discussing it with your clinician. If you deal with reflux, pineapple after dinner is a common trigger. In that case, I recommend trying pineapple at lunchtime instead, or choosing a gentler fruit in the evening. And if you are using pineapple in smoothies or eating large servings because you heard it helps digestion, I recommend switching the strategy. Digestion support for older adults usually improves more from steady hydration, walking after meals, and enough fiber across the day than from one acidic fruit at night. So pineapple is not a villain, it is just a fruit that is better earlier, smaller, and not as a bedtime dessert. Now fruit number 4, and this one surprises people. 4. Watermelon. Watermelon is famous for hydration. It is literally full of water. But here is the twist. In some older adults, watermelon can increase urination, especially when eaten in large portions. That can matter if you already wake up at night to use the bathroom, or if you take a water pill, or if you tend to get lightheaded when you stand up in the morning. If you lose too much fluid overnight, your blood can become more concentrated. And when the blood is more concentrated, circulation can feel sluggish in a body with already stiff vessels. Again, not a dramatic guarantee, but a real risk factor in the wrong context. There is also another piece. Watermelon can lower blood pressure slightly in some people because of natural compounds that support vessel relaxation. That sounds good, and for some people it is. But if your blood pressure already runs low at night, or you take medications that lower it, then a large portion of watermelon in the evening could contribute to that morning dizzy feeling. So what do I recommend? Eat watermelon earlier in the day, not late at night. Keep portions reasonable. And if you take a diuretic or you struggle with nighttime bathroom trips, treat watermelon as a daytime fruit. Also, if you do eat watermelon, do not rely on it as your only hydration. True hydration comes from steady water intake and balanced minerals. You do not need fancy powders. Even a simple meal with a pinch of salt and normal food can help your body hold onto the fluid you drink, especially in older age. If you often wake up with dry mouth or you feel unsteady when you first stand in the morning, watermelon at night is worth reconsidering. Now, before we move on, let me quickly summarize the first 4, so you can keep it practical. Bananas. Watch potassium if kidneys are slower, or medications affect potassium. Keep portions smaller, keep timing earlier, pair with protein. Grapes. Easy to overeat, sugar hits fast, keep to a small handful, pair with protein, avoid late-night snacking. Pineapple. Sugar, plus acid plus bromelain concerns for some people. Keep earlier and smaller, avoid as nightly dessert, especially if reflux or clotting medications are involved. Watermelon. Can increase nighttime urination and contribute to morning unsteadiness in some people. Keep it daytime. Now we are going into fruit number 5, and this one is about medication interactions. In the next part, we will cover oranges, apples, cherries, strawberries and mango, and then we will finish with a calm, brain-friendly way to keep fruit without the swings. 5. Oranges. Oranges have a long history of being seen as the perfect, healthy breakfast. Vitamin C, fresh taste, a glass of juice that feels like a clean start. The main concern for older adults is not that oranges are bad. The concern is how citrus can interact with certain prescription medications in some people, and how easy it is to turn one orange into a large sugar dose when it becomes juice. Whole oranges come with fibre. Juice does not. That fibre matters because it slows absorption. Without it, blood sugar rises faster. For many adults over 60, faster rises mean bigger swings, and bigger swings can affect how steady you feel. Now, about interactions. There is one citrus fruit that is famous for medication interactions: grapefruit. Grapefruit can change how the liver processes certain medications. Many people know this. What fewer people realize is that some other citrus products can have similar, though often weaker, effects, depending on the exact fruit, the amount, and the medication. So here is the responsible approach I recommend. If you take prescription medications for cholesterol, blood pressure, heart rhythm, or clotting, ask your pharmacist a simple question. Are there any fruit interactions I should avoid, including grapefruit or citrus? That question is safe, clear, and it puts the decision in the right place, your personal medication list. because interaction risk is not the same for everyone. For most people, an orange eaten as a whole fruit is a safer choice than a large glass of juice. So my recommendations are: 1. Choose whole oranges instead of juice. 2. Keep the portion moderate. 1 orange is usually plenty. A large glass of juice can contain the sugar of multiple oranges in a few sips, and that is where people get into trouble. 3. Do not take medications with citrus juice unless your clinician says it is fine. Water is the safest default with pills. 4. If you love citrus flavour, consider a small splash of juice in water instead of a full glass. This keeps the enjoyment without the overload. Now we move to fruit number 6. 6. Apples. Apples are the symbol of common sense health. They are portable, they feel clean, they feel safe, and apples can be a great choice, especially for older adults, because they offer fibre. The issue is that many modern apple varieties are bred to be very sweet, and when sweet apples are eaten alone, especially as a large snack, they can still create a blood sugar spike that some older bodies do not handle smoothly. This is not about saying apples cause strokes. That is not accurate. This is about understanding stability. After 60, stability is the goal. Stable blood sugar supports stable energy, stable mood, stable focus, and often a steadier morning. So here is what I recommend. If you love apples, choose lower sweetness options when possible. Some people do well with tart varieties. Also, keep the peel because that is where a lot of fibre and protective plant compounds live. Most importantly, pair the apple. Apple plus nut butter. Apple plus a few nuts. Apple plus cheese. That pairing slows digestion and helps prevent the sharp spike and crash pattern that can leave you feeling off later. Also, consider timing. If apples cause any reflux for you, keep them earlier. And if you notice you wake up hungry or shaky after eating sweet fruit late, move apples to earlier in the day. A practical guideline many older adults like is this: fruit is better as part of a meal than as a standalone snack. That one change can transform how steady you feel. Now fruit number 7. 7 cherries. Cherries are often praised for joints and inflammation. Some people eat them at night because they heard they support sleep. Here is the nuance. Cherries contain natural compounds that can have mild blood-thinning effects in some people, similar in spirit to how certain plant foods can influence clotting. For most healthy adults, small servings are not a problem. The concern is for people who already take medications that affect clotting, such as prescription blood thinners or daily aspirin therapy. If your blood is already being managed by medication, stacking additional blood-thinning effects from foods and supplements can sometimes push the balance in the wrong direction. That does not mean cherries are dangerous for everyone. It means if you are on clotting-related medications, you should be careful about making cherries a large daily habit, especially in concentrated forms. And that is the key word, concentrated. A few cherries in a bowl is one thing, cherry juice, cherry concentrate, and large daily portions are another. Concentrates turn food into a much stronger dose than your body would normally get. So my recommendations are, if you take a blood thinner or daily aspirin, keep cherries as an occasional fruit and avoid cherry concentrate and large amounts unless your clinician says it is fine. If you are not on clotting-related medications, a small portion of cherries can be a reasonable choice, and many people enjoy them earlier in the day. And always pay attention to bruising, unusual bleeding, or feeling unusually lightheaded. Those are reasons to talk to a clinician, regardless of cherries. Now fruit number 8, and this is a big one for older adults in the United States. 8. Strawberries. Strawberries are delicious and they are often viewed as a top-tier health fruit. The key issue here is not the strawberry itself. The issue is what can be on the strawberry. Strawberries are frequently listed among produce items that may carry higher pesticide residues when conventionally grown. Not every strawberry is the same, and not every region is the same, but this is a known concern in food safety discussions. Why does that matter more after 60? Because the body's detox systems can slow with age, and some people become more sensitive to chemical exposures. If you are already managing inflammation, blood pressure, or neurological sensitivity, the safer approach is to reduce avoidable exposures where you can. So what do I recommend? If strawberries are a regular food for you, choose organic when possible. If organic is not possible, wash them thoroughly. Some people soak produce briefly in water with baking soda, then rinse. The goal is not perfection. The goal is reducing residue. Also, keep portions reasonable. Strawberries are generally lower in sugar than many fruits, which is a plus. The primary caution is quality and sourcing. One more nuance. Some people have gout or high uric acid issues. Fruit in general is not usually the main trigger, compared to other foods, but individuals vary. If strawberries consistently flare joint discomfort for you, that is a personal signal to adjust. Now fruit number 9. 9. Mango is one of the sweetest fruits people eat commonly. It feels smooth, tropical, and satisfying. Dried mango can be even more intense. The main issue is sugar load. One serving can deliver a lot of sugar quickly, and dried mango concentrates it further. When sugar load is high, older bodies that already have insulin resistance or blood sugar variability may experience stronger spikes. Those spikes can affect how you feel. Some people feel sleepy, foggy, thirsty, or wake up not feeling steady. There is also the interaction question. With many foods, including some fruits, compounds can affect how the liver processes medications. This is highly medication-specific. So the safest responsible advice is not to claim mango definitely interferes with certain drugs, but to say this: if you take multiple prescriptions, be cautious with large daily amounts of very sweet fruits, and always ask your pharmacist about food interactions. So my mango recommendations are: prefer fresh mango over dried because dried is concentrated. Keep portions small, a few bites rather than a bowl. Eat it earlier in the day, ideally after a balanced meal, rather than alone. Pair with protein or fat if possible. And if you manage blood sugar issues, mango might be a special occasion fruit rather than a daily food. Now we have covered all 9 fruits. Let me pause and do something important. Reset the message so it stays helpful and calm. This is not about fearing fruit. This is about making fruit work for you after 60, not against you. The biggest patterns that matter are: 1. Portion size. Fruit portions have grown. Modern varieties are sweeter, and bowls turn into sugar loads quickly. 2. Timing. Late evening fruit can affect blood sugar stability, hydration, reflux, and sleep quality. Morning and early afternoon are usually safer windows. 3. Pairing fruit eaten alone hits faster. Fruit paired with protein or healthy fat hits slower and supports steadiness. 4. Medication context. If you take prescriptions, you need to know your interaction list. Your pharmacist is your best shortcut. Now, in the next part, I will give you a very simple, brain-steady fruit strategy that many older adults love. It does not require cutting fruit out. It does not require supplements. It is a simple routine that supports stable blood sugar, stable hydration, and better mornings. We will also cover a short list of fruits that tend to be easier choices for many people over 60, and the exact way to eat them. Now that we have walked through the 9 fruits, and why they may require more care after 60, I want to shift the tone slightly. Not away from awareness, but toward confidence. Because the goal is not restriction, the goal is steadiness. After 60, the body responds best to routines that reduce extremes Less spiking, less crashing, less guessing. When the system stays steady, the brain feels safer, balance improves, and mornings become easier. So let me share a simple fruit strategy that many older adults find helpful and realistic. First, the timing rule. I recommend thinking of fruit as a daytime food. Morning and early afternoon are when your body is naturally better equipped to process sugars, fluids, and acids. Circulation is higher, movement is higher, hydration is usually better. If you enjoy fruit, try to finish your fruit intake by mid-afternoon. This single shift often improves sleep quality, reduces nighttime bathroom trips, and makes mornings feel clearer. Second, the pairing rule. Fruit is best when it is not eaten alone. Pairing fruit with protein or healthy fat slows digestion and softens blood sugar changes. Here are examples that work well for many people. Apple slices with nut butter berries with Greek yogurt, half a banana with a few nuts, citrus slices with cottage cheese, a small bowl of fruit alongside eggs or oatmeal with added protein. This is not about counting grams, it is about slowing the entry of sugar into the bloodstream so your body can stay calm. Third, the portion rule. Fruit does not need to fill a bowl. A serving for many older adults is closer to a handful than a platter. Modern fruit is sweeter and larger than it used to be. Adjusting portion size is not deprivation. It is alignment with how your body works now. If you want more volume, add vegetables. Vegetables provide bulk without sugar load and support digestion without spikes. Fourth, the liquid rule. Be cautious with fruit in liquid form. Juice, smoothies, and concentrates remove the natural breaks that fiber provides. If you enjoy smoothies, I recommend making them more like a meal than a drink. Add protein, add healthy fat, use more vegetables than fruit, and avoid drinking fruit late in the day. Now let us talk about fruit choices that tend to be gentler for many adults over 60. These are not universal rules, but they are patterns that show up again and again. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, and strawberries, when properly washed and sourced, are often easier for blood sugar control. They contain compounds that support blood vessel health and memory function without the sharp sugar spikes of sweeter fruits. The key is portion. A small bowl, not a large one, and pairing still matters. Green apples. Tart apples tend to be lower in sugar than very sweet varieties. They also provide fiber that supports digestion and steadiness. Again, pairing with protein makes a difference. Avocados. Technically a fruit, but very different in how the body processes them. Avocados provide healthy fats that support nerve function and blood pressure regulation. They do not spike blood sugar and can be a helpful part of meals. Citrus as flavour, not as volume. Lemon or lime squeezed into water or over food gives flavour and freshness without sugar overload. This can be a nice way to enjoy citrus without large portions. Pomegranate in small amounts. Pomegranate contains powerful plant compounds. Small amounts can be supportive for some people, but juice should be diluted and portions kept modest, especially if you manage blood pressure or take medications. Now let us talk about something many people overlook: signals. Your body gives feedback long before a serious problem develops. The issue is that the signals are often quiet. Here are some signals worth paying attention to after fruit intake, especially in the evening. Waking up with a headache. Waking up very thirsty. Feeling foggy or unsteady in the morning. Needing to urinate multiple times overnight. Feeling shaky or weak between meals. Heart pounding or feeling irregular after sweet foods. These are not reasons to panic. They are reasons to adjust and observe. If you notice these patterns, try changing one variable at a time. Move fruit earlier. Reduce portion. Add protein. Switch fruit types. Give it a week and notice what changes. One of the most empowering things after 60 is learning how small adjustments create big improvements. Now I want to address something important. Many older adults have been told for decades that fruit is always good and more is better. That message came from a good place, but it did not account for aging physiology or medication complexity. You are not failing by needing a different approach now. You are adapting. That is wisdom. You are not fragile. You are specific. And specificity is what keeps you independent. Now let us talk briefly about fear. Fear does not help the brain. Calm awareness does. Nothing we discussed means fruit is forbidden. It means fruit is powerful, and powerful things require context. Think of fruit like sunlight. A little nourishes. Too much burns. The right amount at the right time keeps you strong. Before we move to the final part, I want to leave you with a simple daily structure that many people find stabilizing. Morning. Eat your fruit with breakfast or mid-morning. Pair it with protein. Drink water. Move your body gently. Midday. If you want fruit, this is another good window. Again, keep portions reasonable and pair it. Late afternoon and evening, shift toward vegetables, protein, and healthy fats. Let your blood sugar and circulation calm as you move towards sleep. This rhythm supports steadier nights and clearer mornings. In the final part, I will bring everything together. We will talk about why this matters for protecting independence, memory, and balance, and I will give you a short checklist you can use when choosing fruit at the store or deciding what to eat during the day. Now let us bring everything together in a way that feels grounded, respectful, and practical. If you are over 60, your body is not weaker than it was before. It is wiser. It has different priorities now. Stability matters more than intensity. Consistency matters more than extremes. And awareness matters more than rules. Fruit can still be part of your life. It can still bring pleasure, freshness, and nourishment. The key is choosing it with the same wisdom you bring to everything else at this stage of life. Over the years, many people unknowingly build routines that feel healthy but quietly work against them. Not because they are careless, but because no one explained how aging changes the way the body responds. Blood sugar does not bounce back as quickly. Hydration is more delicate. Blood pressure responds more strongly to small shifts. Medications interact with foods more than most people expect. So the question is no longer, is this food healthy in general, but is this food supportive for me at this time, in this amount? That single shift in thinking changes everything. I want to give you a simple checklist you can use going forward. Not to restrict you, but to guide you. When you are choosing fruit or deciding when to eat it, ask yourself these 5 questions. First, what time of day is it? Fruit is usually best earlier in the day. Morning or early afternoon allows your body to process sugar, fluid, and acids while you are active and hydrated. Late evening fruit is more likely to linger in the bloodstream, affect sleep, and leave you feeling off in the morning. Second, how much am I eating? Modern fruit is larger and sweeter than it used to be. A serving does not need to fill a bowl. A small portion often gives the benefit without the strain. If you want more volume, vegetables are your ally. Third, am I eating it alone or with something else? Fruit alone digests fast. Fruit with protein or healthy fat digests slowly. Slower digestion means steadier blood sugar and calmer circulation. This matters more now than it did years ago. Fourth, am I on medications that could interact? You do not need to memorize interactions. Just ask your pharmacist or clinician if any of your medications have food interactions, especially with citrus or very sweet fruits. This is not overthinking. This is responsible self-care. Fifth, how does my body respond? Your body is always communicating. Morning fog, dizziness, restless sleep, thirst, shakiness. These are not random, they are signals. When you listen and adjust, your body usually responds with clarity and steadiness. Now let me speak directly to something deeper. Many people over 60 worry about losing independence, about balance, about memory, about confidence in their own body. The truth is that independence is protected not by big dramatic changes, but by small daily decisions that reduce strain. Choosing fruit wisely is not about avoiding joy. It is about preserving it. It is about waking up feeling clear, standing up without hesitation, walking with confidence, speaking with ease, trusting your body again. Those things matter. You have earned the right to enjoy life without constantly recovering from what you ate the night before. And I want to be very clear about something important. Nothing we discuss today means fruit is the enemy. Fruit is not the problem. Timing, portions, and context are the difference. A banana is not the same at 8 in the morning as it is at 9 at night. A bowl of grapes is not the same as a small handful paired with nuts. Juice is not the same as whole fruit. A routine is not the same as an occasional treat. Wisdom is knowing the difference. As you move forward, I encourage you to approach food the way you approach life now, thoughtfully, calmly, with respect for your experience. You do not need fear. You do not need perfection. You need awareness and consistency. That is what keeps the brain supported and the body steady. Before we finish, I want you to take a quiet moment and think about one small change you can make this week. Not 10 changes. 1. Maybe it is moving fruit earlier in the day. Maybe it is pairing fruit with protein. Maybe it is reducing juice. Maybe it is asking your pharmacist one simple question. Small changes done consistently are powerful. If this conversation helped you see fruit and aging a little more clearly, take a moment to reflect on what stood out most to you. Awareness is the first step toward lasting stability. And remember this, you are not just eating to get through the day anymore. You are eating to stay sharp, to stay steady, to stay independent, to stay you. And with the right knowledge and calm adjustments, you absolutely can. Thank you for spending this time with me.